Hi. Well, my name is Luna and this is my bedtime story for you. Fluff up your pillow and do get comfy. Oh, by the way, please click subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. Thank you, and let's get started. My name is Ted Killeran. I don't know quite what to write. This is important. I should try to explain as much as I can. I want to explain, but I don't know how much time I have. I know I am injured, but it does not hurt. I will just try to explain and hope I can finish before I pass out, or something. I was on a team of scientists working for a non-profit organization that was dedicated to exploring the oceans. We were lucky enough to get to actually go in the one and only brand new sub that the organization had. There were 5 of us. Some of us more experienced than others. This was my first time actually going any significant depth under. It was me, a marine biologist. Stephen, our captain, Roberta, our engineer, Todd, also a marine biologist but specializing in botany, and Jasmine, a geologist. We were meant to be going to the seafloor and collecting samples and things like that. To be entirely honest, I don't remember all the details. I heard his scream and came as fast as I could with the others right behind me. It was Scott that had screamed. It was Roberta that was dead. She was just lying there face up on the floor. She looked a bit like a starfish. It was so unnatural looking. Not in the way all dead things look, but in the way that most dead things don't. She looked so organized, no blood, no head at an odd angle, nothing. Just dead. We were shocked. Luckily Samantha was a doctor. Why did they send a doctor on the sub? She did her best to find out what was wrong with her but could not seem to find anything other than that she was definitely dead. On second thought, no, she did find one thing out of the ordinary. Rigor mortis had already set in. I had seen her a few moments ago. None of us addressed the strangeness of the situation. How perfect she looked. Stephen was the leader and decided that as such he should do something. A few minutes later we had begun to make our way back up. Stephen tried to get the radio working, but we never got a reply. We were quite deep, so we settled down as we knew it would take a while. None of us spoke for quite a while. Eventually I asked for an approximate time until we surface. I never got an answer, as surfacing requires that you are going up. Apparently we were not. According to our depth sensor we were getting deeper, and somehow all our ship's instrumentation had unanimously decided that this was not a problem. It was. We discussed the possibility that the depth sensor was wrong, seeing as according to everything else we should be going up, but the depth sensor was quite advanced and was based on things like water pressure and salinity, as well as plain old accelerometers and timers. Most of us already knew this, but we were grabbing onto anything that might anchor us to reality as if our life depended on it. Roberta's body was gone. No one said anything. I did not see it go. It was just as if when I stopped thinking about it had stopped existing. After the initial panic of realizing we were going down had worn off, the 3 of us sat down and tried to work out a plan. We still could not tell if we were really going down. We checked the cameras, but with no reference point to look at they could not really help. We talked for a long time, at least a few hours, but I don't remember much other than that it did not seem to help much. Eventually we fell asleep. It was just me and Stephen now. We awoke coughing and drowning. I could not breathe, my lungs felt so tired. I rolled over onto my stomach and tried to at least stay conscious. I awoke once again to the pounding of fists on my back. Involuntarily I vomited more blood than I had ever seen. It was not mine. At first I could not get my bearings, the ground felt soft and the world was too bright and white for me to try to experience it. I was pulled back to reality by Stephen's voice. He asked me if I was okay as he pulled me up into a sitting position. It took me a while to focus enough to remember that questions require answers. "Yes, I am fine, for now at least," I answered. After some amount of time trying to reorient myself, Stephen and I decided to check our depth, to see if we had at least slowed. We had not. We both silently stood there staring at the depth meter, drowning in thoughts hitting us like waves. According to the meter, we should have hit the seabed hours ago. The hard beating of my thoughts against the inside of my skull were interrupted by the beating of a large metal object against the outside of my skull. He was dead. I beat against the door and screamed, looking through the little glass window hoping to draw attention. I don't remember why. No attention was drawn, in fact I don't even know if they could hear me over the others. I needed to get out. I looked for something to hit the door with, but as always there was never anything harder than my fists here. After my fists grew sore of hitting the door, I became aware of something I had not thought of. Despite it being a good deal stronger than my fists, it seemed that the only thing slamming my skull against the door was doing was staining all the white, clean, soft, perfect, cushions red. I left. Now I'm here again, in this empty sub, writing and the only book I could find. I think it had been Samantha's. Despite telling the full story, I seem to still be. The above text had been recovered from a diary found in the Blackfish 7, a U.S. military submarine that had gone missing in 1997. The location of the Blackfish 7 when this book was found was approximately 763 million kilometers from the Sun, embedded inside of a largely ice-based asteroid that was in a distant orbit of Jupiter. It was found when a mining station picked up a signal saying that the Blackfish 7 was making its way to the surface. Only one body was found inside of the Blackfish 7, that carbon dating estimated to be approximately 2,000–3,000 years old. The body was well preserved, on account of the near absolute zero temperature. It is assumed that the body belongs to the writer of the diary, Ted Killeran. Databases on Earth have records of one Ted Killeran disappearing from a mental asylum in 1997. No reasonable explanation of the situation was ever discovered. That's it for that story, guys. How about it? Can you go to sleep now? If you have a story too, please do email me your story. I place my email on my description box. Till next time, bye.